This Doris Ogala started with our client. There was sometime in November 2024, they had a lawful business dealing where she admitted she was going to render help for a third party, because I feel it's between them, so I wouldn't bring the third party in. And the third party and these two people continued with their transaction. At some point, my client felt if Doris cannot do what was meant to be done in terms of...
Welcome to Real Crime Chronicles, where every mystery finds its truth. Tap the bell and never miss the next case.
Hello, you are welcome back to the channel. If today is your first time, please subscribe, like, comment and share. Okay guys, this is a continuation story about Doris and Pastor Chris Okafor. This time around, the lawyer, Pastor Chris Okafor's lawyer, came online to say what transpired between Chris Okafor and Doris Ogala. According to this lawyer is siding Pastor Chris Okafor. He said that Chris Okafor employed Doris to be doing work for him. The lawyer said that what Chris Okafor employed Doris Ogala to be doing for him, that she has not been doing it well. Then he had to demote her. So he said that since Chris Okafor demoted Doris Ogala, that Doris Ogala has been very angry. Then she rose years back, started accusing Pastor Chris Okafor. Chris Okafor took her to police station. They made statements. Then those people charged her for harassment, and whatever they charged her for, they now asked her to sign that she will not repeat that single act again. She signed. So they now said again, now that Chris wanted to marry, that the time Chris wanted to marry, this recent time, that Doris rose again, started accusing Chris again. So I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth, how everything happened. Then I will be back.
This Doris Ogala started with our client. There was sometime in November 2024, they had a lawful business dealing where she admitted she was going to render help for a third party, because I feel it's between them, so I wouldn't bring the third party in. And the third party and these two people continued with their transaction. At some point, my client felt if Doris cannot do what was meant to be done in terms of what the investigation ought to be carried out, then there is no point her continue with that engagement. Then he decided to disengage and informed the third party. Now, I feel Doris felt offended with this position and felt she hadn't gotten what she was deserving of her, came on social media with an outcry, repeatedly damaging the man's image. That was sometime last year. The client got her arrested, our client got her arrested, and thereafter she was charged to court for cyber stalking, cyber bullying, and threat to his life. Surprisingly, people intervened that you cannot be seen as a clergy taking reproach. It was more like you're trying to strong-hand this individual. Then they told her, for the purpose of peace, why not just give her something, make some concession. And as normal, the court would always encourage restitution, amicable settlement and all. And it was a settlement to that effect. I have a copy of the settlement here that was settled out of court and formed part of the court record. Now, in this settlement, she got a particular amount. I'm going to have copies of this after certifying it, made across to the public. And in this settlement, one of the clauses is that after this money is being paid, she would undertake never to contact, never to have any dealing, never to engage, or never to mention this man's name in public for any reason. She got her payment. The court adopted it. She was indemnified for whatever service. In those proceedings, she never made mention that she had any affair, intercourse, or anything that had to do with the man. I am talking as a lawyer, and I'm talking based on records. And I want you to actually listen to me without any idea of prejudice or bias, because I have no skin in it. I have nothing to lose. We're just doing our work. And I want the press corps to rely on facts of this matter. Thereafter, you would see withdrawal of criminal charge, that our client will withdraw this. The settlement sum is being stated. Non-disparagement, confidentiality of the agreement, no further relationship, the entirety, and final settlement and waiver, because he waived his right to continue to prosecute her. She came on media, never said anything about it. Came on media emphasizing, cherry-mongering the issue of an affair. Our client chose not to respond, because I told him, you respond this quickly, you're fighting in a dirty manner. Why not just exercise restraint and build your case. Thereafter, we saw that very dark man got involved, was parading someone as a child, as a daughter of the man, with another narrative. Now, before I skip the young lady, she initially started by saying there was an affair. She needed to be compensated. Then she moved to the wedding would not hold. Then when the wedding held, he went back to our lawyers were filing an action, a claim. And all and behold, we got hold of her claim. She was demanding the sum of 1 billion naira. And I know there is no member of the press that believes she's worth that much. Well, I personally think such character is not worth that much. And she abandoned the claim because we were relieved, like, oh, now that you're coming to court, everyone is going to make that position known before the court. She went ahead demanding for a house. She left the house, went ahead demanding for full payment. Thereafter, a very dark man came, and when all that did not stick, came out with a child, with a daughter or a young lady that claims to be the man's child. Due to privacy and because we're not in a family court, I won't reveal so much that has to do with the interaction or the relation between the said lady and my client. And there's so many surrounding family issue between the lady's mom and our clients. And there are steps being taken by those individuals and our clients. And I can tell you on record that all evidence that such allegation never existed have been put before the police. Irrebuttable evidence that there was no assault, there was no child molestation, there was nothing. The young lady, I can tell you on record, if I have the right of the court or the right of my client to disclose it to you people, about why and what led her making those allegations. And you can always contact the investigative police officers to confirm if they have knowledge of that fact. Now, going ahead, there is another organization called Car Truth Podcast. Car Truth Podcast. Now, before I forget, before that did not stick, the compensation, the money, then she went to the issue of someone was killed and buried in the church. And that the DSS, the police, should investigate or prove the church. We got her arrested in Abuja, hauled to Lagos, in an interaction with the highest office of the police in Lagos here. Interrogations was gone. And she was clearly asked, when my client stated that, you said I killed somebody and buried the individual in the church. Is that correct? And she denied with a capital letter, no, I never said that. The police and everybody busted into laughter. You also said my client raped his wife. Hence, the wife was forced to that marriage. She denied it without blinking twice. We were there. She demanded that she needed a lawyer before she could take her statement. They availed her that right. Our lawyers came through. She was writing the statement, and to our bewildering, she doesn't even understand what cyberbullying is. She doesn't understand what cyber harassment was. They asked her, even if you have a claim of promissory to marry you, which the man declined to marry, is this how you assert and enforce your rights? She said she wasn't bullying him. She only cried out to the public. And I am quoting, I only cried out to the public. You are press people. You have freedom of journalism. At the end of the whole episode, you can always apply for records of these things to see. Now, she appealed to the police that she just had an operation for the treatment of appendicitis, if I recall, and that she needed more medical care to help. And the police obliged that they were going to grant her bail to go, since it's towards the Christmas period and there's going to be a long vacation. Parties should return and investigation will proceed. And a caution was given to her that you don't go back to social media to continue your onslaught. Whatever you have, hold it, bring it before the authority. She left, and all of a sudden we saw her again ranting over social media, making false allegations. And when they told her, these allegations that you're saying, make sure on the next appointment with the police, bring them forth. You will be surprised that they have been calling her to come further to buttress the allegation. She has refused to show up. And I leave that to the police because they know the appropriate steps to take. Now, going back to Very Dark Man, I had a cease and desist letter to write that under the law, you have no such authority. You can't bring someone out. If there is a crime that has been committed, what you do is you take note of the crime, get a legal practitioner, make a formal complaint to the police looks into it and will take the appropriate steps. You cannot be the accuser, the defendant, the judge, and all in one case. We saw the coordinated way it was going. And when I wrote him, I had my staff mail it to him by WhatsApp, telling him under the law, you cannot be soliciting that anyone that has problem against this man be coming out. That's criminal public incitement. So if for some reason I was in the university, I had a dealing with a friend who has chosen not to forgive, or you have a dealing with a colleague who for some reason had nothing to do with the issue at hand, but he wants to take a pound of flesh, and you start soliciting public to come To do what exactly? That is an harassment. That is an irresponsible use of social media and an irresponsible use of your right.
All right, guys, you're welcome back. Also, the lawyer was also mad at Very Dark Man for how Very Dark Man was calling on people, telling them that anybody that have evidence or anybody that Chris Okafor has offended in the time past, that they should come, and have interview with him, that he will give them protection, that nothing will happen to them. So the lawyer said that it's a harassment and all of that. So guys, these questions goes for you. What Very Dark Man did by asking people to come and testify if there is any evil that Pastor Chris has done to them, that they should confess. Is it good or is it not? So I want your thoughts in comment section. Give your thoughts, and remember, turn on the notification bell so that anytime I upload new video, it will get to you immediately. Bye for now.